It's Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Corey and Mason.
Hello and welcome to Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mason Schmidt, here with my best bud, Corey Knudsen.
Finally, it's been ages.
Oh,
you remember that?
Yeah, I do. 2? You usually wait to do like a big outburst like that when I ask you like how you've been.
Yeah.
Okay.
You remember Open Season 2?
Yes, Open Season 2 is the best open season.
Yeah, it's good.
Mostly because of those stupid ass cats. Anyway.
Mr. Weenie.
Yeah, and she's not Jennifer Coolidge, but that feels like that's definitely Jennifer Coolidge.
They did live action.
Jennifer
Open
Coolidge
season,
is that role.
for sure.
Anyway, thanks for sitting down with us and tolerating us while we crack some cold ones and talk about movies. We did kind of reorganize the way we do this show, so you're going to kind of have to you're going to get thrown into the middle of it. Typically, we'll just be talking about movie news, what we've watched lately. Those will be kind of divvied up in between new releases that are more recent and also the older movies that we've kind of gone back to throughout this week. But we want to maybe kind of restructure the show just to see that we're making sure that we're spending the most time on the things that are the most relevant to now, especially in terms of the world of movies. But before we get into the brunt of the show, Corey, I'll ask you again, as I already kind of prompted you earlier, how have you been? And secondly, what are we drinking tonight?
2 notes. 1, hungover. Mm-hmm. Went out drinking last night. It's a great time.
You drank. I was sipping. You drank. Like, me and Corey went to our favorite bar in Minneapolis. We went to Theives bar. It's a piano bar, and it's awesome. It's a big, long hallway. They have karaoke, and oftentimes I feel like the people that sing at Theives bar are actually like good singers, so it's like enjoyable. I get to the bar before Corey. I have an old fashioned I start on, and I kind of finish it as Corey shows up. So he gets an old fashioned, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna switch to beers just because I want to have an easy morning like today, basically. And as I'm like kind of slowly chugging through my beers, like me and Corey are matching pace, but every beer I'm drinking is an old fashioned that this man is just disposing of. So it was like, and he would always like push his empty glass to the end of the bar for the bartender. I'm like, holy shit, like I still have a quarter of a beer left. I haven't even like, this dude's one-upping me and he's drinking old fashions and I'm just drinking Miller Lite right now.
Great old fashions.
Nice bar does have great old fashions. Mine was fucking burnt though. The first one I had, I was like, whoa, she does not want me here. This bartender, she wants me to leave.
Yeah, it's fucking good though, but just headache, all that shit. Second note, congrats to Alex Ovechkin. We just watched him score his 895th goal.
Just watched is putting it loosely. We've been prepping for this show for like 2 hours of just us about to start, and then I get like a case of the giggles, or Corey says some dumb shit, and we just derail ourselves for like 45 minutes. So, just watch is a loose way to put it.
Yeah, probably like 8.5 hours.
Yeah, but
happen.
Ovechkin, getting what, 895, surpassing Wayne Gretzky. I'm sure he'll get 896 relatively soon, and they've just been feeding that boy the puck, and he's just burning it back on the net. So, I'm a big fan of Ovechkin. It's like in a lot of sports, I'm happy that you guys are listening to Slate Night where we talk about movies. We're just going to talk about sports and drinking. But I feel like in football, a lot of like those heavy hitters, like quarterbacks, the people that we grew up with are like now retired and gone. But Ovechkin and like Crosby, that era of hockey player is still around. And it's just so nice to see a guy like Ovechkin get that record and to get him his flowers and have him celebrated. Also to do it all with the Capitals is just really sweet.
Speaking of NFL players that retired, Julio Jones. He retired. Titans legend.
Did Julio. He really?
Yeah.
When?
A few days ago.
Oh, well.
Yeah, Titans legend, Julio Jones.
How long was he in the NFL? Like 8 years?
Yeah, more than that. Over 10, I think.
Time is a concept I don't get, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, what are we drinking today? Introduce that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even say that.
Fucking idiot.
We got a little gold medal lager from Headflyer Brewing out of Minneapolis.
Yep.
We've had a few of their other things. It's really good.
Had one last week.
Yeah, it's really good. I like it. Good drinks. A little hair of the dog.
I purposely only grabbed myself one beer, and then I saw on the other end of the desk that you grabbed me a second one.
Yeah, I got you loaded up
that's so sweet of you.
One. It's we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it was a big week in terms of the world of movies, movie news. CinemaCon was going on this week, but also to start us off on kind of a downbeat, we did have the passing of the beloved actor Val Kilmer. Died at the age of 65, I believe, on April 1st, 2025. Passed away from complications from pneumonia. He was diagnosed, I believe it was in 2014, with throat cancer, and he's kind of dealt with the complications of that since. Known for his iconic roles, obviously, in Top Gun, a movie Corey recently got to watch in Tombstone, and also a very nostalgic Batman Forever for me. That was like the Batman movie for me growing up because it was so colorful, and I actually really like Val Kilmer in that movie. Corey, how did you receive this news? I woke up on Tuesday morning, I believe, with my brother texting me like, Batman's dead. And I'm like, oh, that is the worst sentence to just
crazy.
wake up to.
Yeah.
And then, to look into it and see it's Val Kilmer, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. This one hits for sure. I mean, I Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, I watched somewhat recently, and like he's so good in that movie too.
Oh, that might be my favorite of his performances. The way he just cuts down Robert Downey Jr. in that movie.
It's incredible. I think his name is Gay Perry in that movie.
I don't remember. That is
so funny.
That is my favorite Shane Black movie.
Yeah. But no, I love Val Kilmer, and he just very versatile, like in all of his roles. And Roger Ebert, the great movie critic, he has a quote about Val Kilmer where he said, if there was an award for the most unsung leading man of his generation, Val Kilmer should get it. And I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Because he never seems to pop up in people's like greatest actors of all time or anything like that, which he deserves to be. And it's very, very sad, but leaving behind an incredible legacy. And I think with Top Gun Maverick being his final role also is a nice, like, they didn't know it at the time, but like a nice send-off of kind of his whole film career. So,
and you have that great moment between him and Tom Cruise in that scene where they're like saying their goodbyes, and Val Kilmer asks, "Who's the better pilot out of you and me?" And Tom Cruise is like, It's a
nice moment.
This is a nice moment. Let's not ruin this.
Let's not ruin it.
So, to see him in Top Gun Maverick was a surprise to me, just because I didn't know what his abilities were with that throat cancer diagnosis and him dealing with that post-chemotherapy and stuff. But to see him in that was awesome. But I know you saw a heavy hitter of his kind of back catalog, his filmography this past week, so let's get into that.
Yeah. I finally got around to watching Tombstone. I've been wanting to watch it forever, and this kind of provided me that opportunity to just celebrate his life because I've heard that he's incredible in it. This movie is fucking loaded. The cast
is nuts.
Insane. I'm just going to do a very quick run through because there's a lot of people, and I'm like...
This is the longest cast list we've put on a movie.
So we got Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer, Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton, Powers Booth, Michael Biehn, Charlton Heston, Robert Mitchum, Jason Priestley, Stephen Lang, Thomas Hayden Church, Dana Delaney, Michael Rooker, Harry Carey Jr., Billy Bob Thornton, Billy Zane, and Terry O'Quinn. Like, every side character in this movie...
biggest cast.
Insane. But you got the main four boys. You got Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer, Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton. And Kurt Russell plays Wyatt Earp, who's obviously based on the real person.
Western legend.
Yeah, Western legend. He was a lawman for a long time, and then he wanted to retire to this little town in Tombstone with his two brothers, Sam Elliott and Bill Paxton. And they're disrupted by a gang of outlaws called the Cowboys, who Powers Booth and Michael Biehn are a part of. And this is everything you want from a Western. This movie is so good. Like, it's just the best collection of mustaches I've ever seen.
One of the most stacked casts, but also the facial hair throughout the cast in this movie is sublime. It is some of the best facial hair.
And speaking specifically about Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday, every line he says in this movie is so quotable. And like I've heard a lot of the lines even before I'd seen the movie. I'll be a Huckleberry.
Yeah, I'll be a Huckleberry, yeah.
He's just got the charisma in the movie. Kurt Russell's a great leading man. And I was kind of reading up on the movie about how there was a lot of... the original director was fired, and Kurt Russell kind of came in and did a lot of rewrites and kind of ghost-directed the movie, it sounds like. And he focused the movie in more on his character and his relationship with the woman in the town, and then on Val Kilmer as well, which I think helps to focus it and really have those two be the main stars. I think it loses out on some of the side characters like Sam Elliott and Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
They don't get as much to do, and they kind of feel like, oh, you're a little bit wasted in this movie. Like, you're still a great presence there, but just the character work wasn't as strong there. That's really my only like little issue with it, because it's an essential Western. Like, it's so perfect of, you get the shootouts in the street, you get the just riding on horses, taking down the outlaws out in the desert. Like, it's just, you have everything you want in this movie. It's so much fun. If you haven't seen Tombstone and you love Westerns, definitely check this one out.
Yeah. It's a very well-paced movie. I think it's over 2 hours and 10 minutes, like 2:14 or 2:15. And how was it for you? Because a big part of Doc Holliday, he is just like, he oozes charisma, but also is his tuberculosis and his illness and that latter half of the movie where you see kind of this shell of a man throughout, and you kind of get some good emotional moments between him and Kurt Russell. How did that kind of... Is it weird seeing a moment like that in a movie the same week that we lose an actor?
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, it's... Yeah, he spends the whole movie sick, just like kind of in bed, like coughing and whatever. So it was, again, kind of in a weird way of like the Top Gun Maverick thing, where it's like saying goodbye to this character and the impact that he had on everybody within the movie. So it was certainly a weird, kind of like bittersweet thing.
Yeah.
But also a great final scene between those Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer in the movie too. This movie is awesome.
Yeah, Tombstone is one of the great westerns. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Also, yeah, we lost a legend in Hollywood with losing Val Kilmer this past week. So if you haven't seen much of his filmography, check it out. I don't think I've seen a bad performance from him. Like I said, I'm very nostalgic for Batman Forever. I wish that they could have carried on Val Kilmer as the Bruce Wayne Batman character into another one. Like, I don't need George Clooney's Batman and Robin, but also I don't know if Val Kilmer's necessarily going to come in and save Batman and Robin for the atrocity that the movie is. But I just really dug him in that role, and he was just like a comfort actor. Like, we had so many movies growing up where he was just one of the leads, and I was just seeing his face. It was like a comfort thing. It was something I got so used to, like, in my house. So yeah, it's a sad week, but yeah, he will live on in the iconic characters that he has played. So yeah, R.I.P. to good old Val Kilmer. Moving into a lot of the brunt of this past week, which I did mention earlier on, was CinemaCon. So we got a lot of developments. This is the big kind of event that they do every year, where every big major cinema chain goes and they have every studio come out and basically pitch to the theaters like, hey, these are the movies we're coming out with. This is what we're showing this year. This is why we're really nailing the pin down. We are a theater going experience, not for streaming, and every theater goer, every theater head is like, finally, please just hold to that. Don't fucking go day and date with Peacock for some stupid shit movie, Five Nights at Freddy. Like, why would you do that? But
the theater, the kind of group of theaters, used to be called the National Association of Theater Organizations, NATO.
So yeah, they had to change that. Yeah, but anyway, so starting off, we kind of augmented or listed out these by studio, so we'll go through each studio, talk about some of the major developments. Some we'll just kind of gloss over because there's not a whole lot of information there, but there are some that obviously will raise some more interest between me and Corey. So starting off with Sony, we got an announcement for Jumanji 3, which will likely bring back that cast of Jack Black, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Nick Jonas, maybe, Karen Gillan. But also we got the confirmation, basically, of these 4 Beatles films coming from Sam Mendes, all releasing in April 2028, looked at, and I think they mentioned as the first film, like, bingeable theater-going experience. So all 4 of these separate movies following the Beatles, the band of the Beatles, coming out in April 2028, starring Harris Dickinson, Paul Mescal, Barry Keoghan, and Joseph Quinn. We'll also talk about Spider-Man Brand New Day, having that new title revealed, also the new logo, and also getting some sort of development news mention of Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, even though it's not releasing until June 2027. So, Corey, with you, looking at the Sony kind of announcements that we had, what sticks out to you? What was like kind of the big one? What really like gets you going?
The Spider-Man stuff for sure. Yeah. Getting a title for Brand New Day, which I think it's a fine title.
Yeah.
There's a title can't really like go off of much, but I think it looks cool.
I think of like the MCU titles, this and Homecoming are my favorite.
Yeah. Homecoming, I think, is my
Far
favorite.
From Home, I'm like, what is that? No Way Home, I'm like, how does this, like, I'm like, okay, whatever, but...
Yeah, I like just a little kind of update on that, which is nice. And then Beyond the Spider-Verse, I mean, they released a couple of images of the animation, which, again, looks incredible. And it sucks we have to wait this long for it, but I would rather them take their time, make it good.
Pay their animators.
Yeah.
Not sweatshop them.
Because once it comes out, nobody's going to, like, really be talking about how long it took. It's just be like, if it's
that
good,
movie's awesome.
Like, yeah, it's fucking great.
They did it. They made an amazing trilogy.
Yeah. And then the Beatles movies, I'm very curious about just to see how that works. I don't mind the cast of the 4. I think It'll be interesting. I don't know if it'll be. It seems like it could be a lot.
Yeah, I feel like if you've listened to one or two of our episodes of this podcast, you know that I'm not the biggest musical biopic person. I do love the Beatles, and if they just wanted to do like outright if like you made it a 3-hour long Beatles biopic, fine, I'd be all jazzed for that. I will see that. But 4 films, I think the only reason why I'm like kind of interested in this is that they're all coming out in that same month, and to kind of see how they connect, or if you need to watch them in a specific order or not. So I'm interested to see the rollout of those 4 films. I kind of wish Sam Mendes was putting his time towards other work or working on other things, but this is something truly unique in terms of the theater going experience. So I'm interested. I'm not like the most excited about it. I'm just more to see how it works out for these films.
Yeah, for sure. Next studio we got is Lionsgate. Heavy on the John Wick news. Holy smokes.
Too much.
So they announced John Wick Chapter 5 is coming out.
Yeah, he's not fucking dead. Fine.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Then we had a Kane spin-off film, which was Donnie Yen's character from the 4th movie. He's going to star in it and direct the film. And then we're getting an animated John Wick prequel film. So, sure. Whatever.
Okay. We can see why he's the Baba Yaga.
Yeah, great.
As if we didn't see that for 4 fucking movies. Why he was the Baba Yaga.
I understand. We get it.
Yeah, we got it.
And then they showed some footage, and there, I kind of like made some distinctions here of like footage that was shown there, but like wasn't released to us.
Yeah.
But then some things like they released the trailer, so that's kind of when I say footage shown, that's what I mean there.
Mm-hmm.
But footage was shown of Now You See Me 3, which is titled Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
I feel like that should have been the second movie.
Yeah,
that's the title that you put on the second one.
I know you.
I hate this franchise. Yeah, I can't stand it.
I've seen the first one. I liked it enough.
I remember being so hyped for this movie as a kid when the first one was coming out and going to it. We went with my entire family, which when we would go to the theater with my entire family, that was a big event. And I usually, like, those movies stick out more to me in my mind. And I fucking was just itching to leave. I was like, this movie is so dumb. I can't stand it. Like the Mark Ruffalo twist towards, I was like, fuck this movie. And then the weird bullshit they do in Now You See Me Too. Like everyone's seen that, like that one scene that is all over like TikTok reels, whatever, of just like them having that card shuffle through or like the key card shuffle through. And I'm like, fuck this. Like this is the dumbest looking thing I've ever seen. Anyway, aside from that.
Yeah, so they showed some footage of that. And then kind of the last big thing was they showed a little kind of logo teaser for the new Hunger Games movie, Sunrise on the Reaping, which is coming out next year in November. The book just came out a couple of weeks ago, and I've talked to some people that have read it, and they really liked it. They said it was very dark compared... I mean, like, I haven't read the books, but like the movies have always had a tinge of darkness.
Yeah, and you know, then based on just what they're about.
Yeah, but I've heard this one is like kind of gets into some deeper shit, and it's about Haymitch's games, Woody Harrelson's character, the 50th one. So I'm actually very excited for that. I just watched all the Hunger Games movies. What was that last year? 2 years ago.
Yeah,
before
Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yeah, which I really like the franchise. So I'm excited for this, and it's a good little logo teaser.
Yeah, I could do without all the John Wick developments. You and I talked about that before really recording. I was happy with where they left it. I don't need more. I will happily see Ballerina, and I think Ana de Armas is going to kick ass in that movie. And it feels already, just based on what I've heard about it, that it is basically like John Wick 4.5 with how much Keanu Reeves is actually in that movie. So I'm excited to see that, but I don't like Lionsgate. Obviously, they don't have like a lot of hard-hitting franchises. So like they have the Now You See Me, Now You Don't, but they also, aside from that, announced Now You See Me 4 is coming too. So they have those going. They're milking John Wick a bit.
Pause.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't make me think about Keanu Reeves in that way. They're milking John Wick, and then we have another Hunger Games movie. Which actually, of this news, that is the one that most excites me because I'm nostalgic for that franchise. I read all those books. Actually, I didn't read Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but I read the original trilogy. I'd say back in middle school when those were coming out. Saw those movies. I've liked all those movies at least, and I've loved some of them. Like Catching Fire I love, but my favorite of this franchise has been The Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes. It's my favorite Hunger Games movie. I love that movie, and if anything, it's just made me more hyped for where they're going with this franchise. And like you said, I've heard from the people that have read this new book that it's awesome. It's one of the better of the 5 now, so I'm excited to see kind of where that goes and to see that movie next year. Looking at Warner Brothers now, there was footage shown for Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride, which is a Bride of Frankenstein adaptation, basically. There's also footage shown for Zach Cregger's Weapons. And they also, and this also dropped online, but there was a Superman extended first look, which I don't think that they really anticipated dropping online because they were doing it with the opening of Minecraft. They were going to show, I think, from what I heard before, leading in as like a promo before the movie, and then like the day after they showed it, it was online. So I was like, oh, okay, like something happened, something leaked. Of this news, I'm excited for The Bride. I don't know anything about it except for the cast, and that excites me enough. And I like Maggie Gyllenhaal behind the camera. I can't wait for Zach Cregger to make anything, especially after Barbarian. I think he's attached to Resident Evil as well.
Yeah, I forget which studio that is, but they kind of did something with that during CinemaCon as well.
So I'm excited for anything he's attached to. I grew up watching Zach Cregger on YouTube, the Whitest Kids You Know, like sketch team that they had. They had some of the wildest shit I watched, and I love everything that they did. It was always so funny, and I'm like,
calm down, John.
Just calm down, John. And I would recite stuff like that to my mom, and she'd be like, where are you hearing this? Like, you can't know these words, and I'm just cussing just nonstop because of Whitest Kids You Know. So yeah, I love his comedic sensibilities, but also if he's gonna make horror films and make a banger like Barbarian, I'm excited for whatever he's doing next. And that Superman extended first look, yeah, sure, I liked it. Corey, how do you feel about kind of the Warner Brothers stuff?
Yeah, I heard. I was just reading through some of like. Somebody broke down the footage of The Bride, just kind of like laying out what was in it, and it sounded really cool. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, Christian Bale's in that, right? Like right? Isn't he?
There's two different Bride of Frankenstein movies.
Don't
I think
either.
it's this one and Jesse Buckley are in this one, right?
Yeah.
And then who's Del Toro's doing it?
He's doing a Frankenstein one. And that's with Jake Elordi.
Yeah, there's too many fucking Frankenstein things coming out. Can we? Yeah, I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure that I'm pulling up the cast here real quick.
Using a mouse instead of a trackpad.
I am using a mouse instead of my
crazy.
trackpad. I hate trackpads. Trackpads are the bane of my existence,
Really?
and also I'm just not a nimble or efficient person in anything that I
Remember
do.
though on the ThinkPad computers, the red thing?
The red dot, those are sweet. That you
that
had in
was
like
crazy.
school. Oh hell yeah. Oh, I didn't know Jake Gyllenhaal is potentially in this cast. Maybe, I don't know, but we got Christian Bale and Jesse Buckley in this, as well as Penelope Cruz. So yeah, and John Magaro from September 5,
nice.
September 5th. So excited to see him in more stuff.
Sweet.
But stacked cast.
Yeah, so that one looks cool. Excited for anything Zach Cregger's doing. And then the Superman extended look, it really is just that scene where he crashes in the snow, and then Crypto comes in and is dragging him around to the Fortress of Solitude, and then some robots put him in the sun.
Yeah.
And that's about. And then they show like stuff from the trailer that we've seen before.
The look of Fortress of Solitude, I will say, is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think
that
that's
was
sweet.
so well done, and just the way the icicles and just the crystals just form and turn.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is something.
Like the look of it. I'm not sure how I feel about like all the Crypto humor yet.
Yeah,
I'll have
it
to
felt
see it.
like it went on too long. I'm like, I get it. Like, I feel like at this point, Crypto knows that also has this superhero capability, and he knows that his owner is Superman, or his compatriot is Superman. Like, just like, hey, Crypto, get with it. Quit jumping on him. He is in pain. Like, help him
my
out.
brother.
Yeah.
He is bleeding from the mouth.
Bro is having hard times right now.
But yes, I think it's a good little first look there. Surprised they didn't do more DC announcements.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we have Comic-Con coming up still,
Yeah.
but it just seems like with this new era of DC, maybe they would have done like a Supergirl or like kind of some of their more upcoming projects. But
And they brought, I think, like the heavy, like the main three, Rachel Brosnahan, David Cornsweet, and Nicholas Hoult out on stage, and they talked about their characters and I think what they mean to them. So I'm like, all right, I get that. Like, you're selling this movie pretty well, and I'm excited based on like the trailers, and I love Superman, and James Gunn has a pretty bang up track record, so I have confidence in this movie. But yeah, some more developments in the DC. It's hard with CinemaCon because it's for the theater owners, but it's also like the theater owners are fans of the shit that you're putting out too. They like, what are you gonna give them? Like, so there was a lot of developments kind of dropped throughout this past week, but like DC, I was kind of wondering. I'm like, come on, you're a little
maybe this summer.
not to be seen right now.
get some
Where
more.
you at? Yeah.
Next up, we have from Universal and Focus Features. Before live action How to Train Your Dragon comes out this summer, they already said, you know what, we're doing the second one too, coming out in 2027.
And they did a full screening of How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah. Really promoting that new theme park that they just did of the whole How to Train Your Dragon stuff.
Yep, saw
So
that.
yeah, they're working overtime. Then we had some footage shown for the Black Phone 2 and Nobody 2. A lot of twos in Universal.
sequels, that's fine.
I like the Black Phone a good bit. I think it's a good little movie. Nobody, also pretty fun. So sure, I'll take some sequels, I guess. Then there was some footage shown, and the poster was released for Wicked for Good. The poster looks a little wonky.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Honestly, I don't think that there really is a lot of posters that were put out for the first Wicked that really wow, I love it. Yeah. It's just a lot of Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, which I love them in the movie, and I love the movie, but the posters, I'm like, that's it? That's all we're doing it with? She could fly. There's something cool we could do with this. Come on.
Do a cool design there.
Yeah.
And then, then there was also trailers released for Megan 2.0 and Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Wow, these really are
they're all sequels,
number 2. Yeah. The Megan the Megan 2 trailer, man. I don't know.
They're going the action movie route now. They're
she's
whatever.
Fucking paragliding through, or he's got a fucking squirrel suit on, paragliding
wingsuit,
through that canyon.
Yeah,
wingsuit, going through the canyon, and I don't know.
We saw Megan in theaters together too,
and I enjoy it for what it is.
Exactly.
It's it is very campy. It's silly, but it kind of works in a weird way.
And it came out at the very beginning of the year, I think it was January release, where you kind of, if you're a frequent film goer, January typically is the dumping ground, so it's nice when you get something that's kind of good, which Megan was good enough. So I'm whoa, hell yeah, sweet. But I'm damn, okay, we're doing another one. Oh, she's doing another dancing thing, which I heard that they brought 30 Megan dancers out to promote this, which, Universal is going to milk Megan for all they can. I'm just using milk a lot.
Oh, bro.
She's a bot. She is a robot. Robot. Robotnik.
Also doing Soulmate.
Another
which
sex doll.
A sex doll, just straight up.
Just straight up a sex doll. We just got Companion, and now they're going to make that movie.
I love that they put the number 8 in the title. That's cool.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah. I didn't even know that. That's bad.
Yeah.
Well, Megan crazy. Is going up against, Amelia is the new bot that is hell-bent on destruction or whatever. So now Megan's a good guy, a good character. We're rooting for her. I don't know.
Then we had Five Nights at Freddy's 2, just another banger. Again, the first movie, I'm it's fine enough. I think the first movie is a decent, entry point for people, maybe a younger kid looking to get into horror
movies, yeah.
If you're maybe, or you want to show your kids something that has a little bit of violence, but it's not over the top really. This trailer, looks like they escape the fucking building.
Freddy's,
I don't know,
fucking plaza,
whatever.
Yeah. I played the game briefly, and then I saw the first movie, and I didn't like the first movie, but I completely get what you're saying. Where this is a good this is gonna sound like a huge slide towards the movie, but it's a kids' table horror film. This is a good introductory point for someone that's getting into horror. I'll probably see all of these movies that we just talked about, especially Nobody 2. From what was described of what the footage entailed was they're going on a family vacation. He's stressed, and it's way more violent. I'm fuck yeah, I love Bob Odenkirk just breaking fools. So yeah, I'll go see that. Black Phone I wasn't the biggest fan of, but I like Scott Derrickson. I like Ethan Hawke in that role. I don't know what they're really gonna do or what's in line for this second film, but I'm still excited for it. I'm not sold on this live action How to Train Your Dragon franchise, even though I know that based on some of the reactions that spilled out from CinemaCon, everyone seemingly really liked it or loved it. I have the animated ones. I'm sure I'll end up seeing these, but I'm not excited about it.
Yeah, the visuals are gonna look great.
Great, yeah. I don't know.
Whatever.
I am interested to see how close to the animated film they stick, or if there's going to be kind of differences, because I'm that's the only part that would excite me is if you do something wildly different.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, moving into Amazon MGM, which was, I think this is their first time officially at CinemaCon, so that's kind of cool. No real Bond news to be seen, which was kind of disappointing. You'd think that, I'm not expecting them to announce the next Bond, but to come out and be hey, we have Bond, all that they basically said was yeah, we got producers and they're at work at it. Okay, sweet, sounds good. We did get a behind-the-scenes look at Masters of the Universe. There was also footage shown of Lord and Miller's Project Hail Mary, starring Ryan Gosling. That one, of the stuff that came out from CinemaCon, has been the one that's interested me the most. It's based on a book by Andy, I think it's Andy Weir.
Yeah.
But I think he wrote The Martian.
Yeah,
so
really good book.
And
movie.
I love The Martian. I'm excited to see whatever Project Hail Mary is, especially to see Lord and Miller back directing. I feel like I haven't seen them attached to something in a while. Corey, Master of the Universe, Lord Miller's Project Hail Mary? Is there anything big with Amazon MGM for you?
I have literally zero background on Masters of the Universe.
Oh, I don't either.
I've never seen any of the show.
I don't know any of the characters' name except Skeletor.
Yeah, I that's it. But I don't know, kind of excited for it though. Just
I've seen that promo photo of just
the sword.
Yeah, the sword. The dude's yoked chest and he's holding the sword. I'm like, all right,
Sweet.
sweet. So that's He-Man, I'm guessing.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know this franchise, but whatever. If it's good, I'll go see it.
Yeah. And then I'm same as you, excited for Project Hail Mary. So I forget when that one comes out, but I will be there opening weekend to watch that one.
I think it's March next year, March 2026.
Yeah. Next up, we had Paramount.
We had some big ones.
Big ones.
Yep.
Which, first off, they showed some footage for Edgar Wright's The Running Man, which it's not a remake of the movie. I think it's a remake of the book.
Yeah,
or
it's the
something.
adaptation of the original story, which was written by Stephen King. It's kind of like we talked about Starship Troopers with Neil Blomkamp doing a better, or not better, but a more accurate retelling or adaptation of the book, as opposed to kind of sticking to what we got with Paul Verhoeven's sci-fi classic. And it sounds like this is kind of the way Edgar Wright's going with The Running Man. It's more of an adaptation of the book as opposed to, hey, this isn't going to be an Arnold movie. Yeah. But the cast for this, I'm stoked by, because you got Glenn Powell, you got your boy, who I'm already blanking on his name, but should have got he did get some best actor love for getting the nomination. Why can't I think? You're just going to stare at me blankly.
I don't know who you're talking about. Coleman Domingo?
Coleman Domingo, thank you. I think he's the TV show host of it all, so I'm really excited to see him in it. That's sweet.
Yeah, I'm excited. I have not seen the original Running Man, but I just wanted to shout out, my dad texted me yesterday, just randomly when I was at work. And he said, "You ever viewed The Running Man? Period, question mark.
You ever viewed? I like that. You ever viewed this?
Arnold, Governor Ventura. Classic late 1980s, early 90s action film. Next text, Total Recall, period. Red Dawn and Predator, good movies. No Way Out is another good watch."
He's like, I just need to dump some takes, some wrecks.
And I told him, I was like, I haven't seen the original, but I told him about the remake, and then I'm like, I'm excited to see it, but it's just a classic dad.
It's a very dad thing, yeah.
He's like, I got some stuff on my mind, and
someone needs to hear it.
Yeah, and he showed me a lot of action movies back in the day, so I don't know, it was just kind of a funny text.
It was the most dad thing.
Yeah. But they also showed some footage for the SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants, and they announced that Mark Hamill is voicing the Flying Dutchman, which, sweet, love it.
That's awesome.
The first SpongeBob movie is fucking incredible.
That is an infinitely quotable movie.
Yeah. The second one, Sponge Out of Water, I saw it in theaters. There's a dolphin that talked to him or something.
Yeah, I don't remember too many I started watching the Plankton movie a couple weeks ago on Netflix, and I was really high. So that was quite the experience.
I haven't seen the third one.
Sponge on the Run?
Sponge on the Run, yeah.
Is that the one with Keanu Reeves as a tumbleweed that I saw? Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've seen those ones. I've seen Sponge Out of Water, and I like that one because they're superheroes towards the end. I'm like, all right, this is stupid shit.
But it's cool that all the cast is still coming back all these years later to do all the voices. So
and it's just crazy that Clancy Brown
is
Mr. Krabs. That is still a thing that shocks me. And I grew up with SpongeBob. It's still something that's just wild to me.
Yeah, so that could be fun. And then we had the first trailer released for the Naked Gun remake starring Liam Neeson, produced by Seth MacFarlane. It's a pretty quick trailer, and a lot of the comedy at first I was like, yeah, it's whatever. Mm-hmm. But then they have the OJ bit at the end. Yeah. I'm like, that's fucking great.
That just, that first initial joke of Liam Neeson as Frank Drebin Jr., but he's you see that little girl going to the bank. Oh, supposedly it's Frank Drebin as the little girl, and he just stands up. And I'm like, a lot of the humor in that didn't really get me. And I'm really interested to see how a classic spoof movie like that works in today's world and works in theaters, and how people are going to react to it, if it's going to be funny. But then that joke of all the cops basically on their knees looking at photos of their fathers, who are all characters from the original, and they're all just crying, and then it cuts to the guy who's looking at the photo of OJ, and he's like, don't look at me, no. I'm like, that's
great, good joke.
Such a funny joke, and I was like, all right, I'm pretty sold. Which, after hearing about that being dropped, I was like, all right, I need to go and watch The Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad, the original from 1988, because I had never seen it. I've always heard about it. I've seen Airplane, and I really like Airplane, and I like Leslie Nielsen. The film was directed by David Zucker, who also made Airplane and Top Secret, some classic spoof movies of that era. But film stars Leslie Nielsen, Priscilla Presley, O.J. Simpson, as we've awesomely mentioned, Ricardo Montalban, and George Kennedy. It's just this police detective who it's slapstick nonstop. He fumbles through things, but it always works out for him. And it's just I was going into this movie thinking, like, you know what, it was a movie in the 80s. It's a spoof movie from the 80s. So, like, a lot of these bits probably aren't going to hit. And they might not be as relevant today. It might just not make me laugh, and that's fine. Can I get, like, the charm of it through, at least? This movie made me laugh so much. It holds up so well. The beaver joke, where you get Priscilla Presley going up the ladder to grab something, and you just see her dress leave the top part of the screen, and Leslie Nielsen's looking up at her. Hell of a beaver. And she just hands down a stuffed beaver. Thanks, I just had him stuffed. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. So there's just wacky shit nonstop in this movie, and it's like 85, maybe 90 minutes long. I started watching it in bed late at night one night, and my wife was sitting next to me, and she was playing a game on her phone, doing something, and she put her phone down and watched it with me, and she was like, this movie's funny. And I was like, hell yeah. Like, I never would have anticipated watching a spoof movie from 1988, and it's still kind of really hitting home all these years since then. Also with my wife watching it, which it's just dumb humor. You get the OJ getting shot up at the beginning of the movie. Like, he's trying to make this big bust on this big boat, and he gets shot up, and he, like, falls into, like, a bear trap. He gets, like, a cake in the face. He gets his hands, like, just nonstop stupid shit keeps happening to him until he falls out of the boat. It's just relentless, stupid humor, and it's like they're willing to take the time to try and make you laugh. And I love the way it ends. I love all the baseball stuff at the end where he's impersonating a, like, Vivaldi, like, top opera singer for the national anthem, and then he's also the umpire, and he's getting too into it when he's, like, calling balls and strikes, and I'm like, hell yeah, this is so fun. So
we don't get movies like this anymore, of, like, slapstick,
which I'm really excited for with this new one now. I saw that the clip that they released of the new Naked Gun with Liam Neeson, and I think Liam Neeson, that's a really good casting choice, because, like, his small bit in Ted 2, where he's buying tricks at the register, and he's like, they're not gonna know, right? Like, they're not for kids.
We don't have the budget for that.
yeah, I won't be followed. and even A Million Ways to Die in the West, I really like him in that. So I think he's great to take on this, like, son, this junior of Frank Drebin from the original. And if you haven't seen Naked Gun, the original from 1988, go see it. I'm probably gonna try and check in on some of the sequels to that film, just because I really did enjoy the first one. Corey, I'm guessing you've seen Naked Gun?
I've seen this original one a long time ago, but I love it, much like you have, or you just talked about.
It's a beauty.
It's great. One of my favorite jokes from it is, I think it's Leslie Nielsen, and I think it's Priscilla Presley. They go back to his apartment. He's like, let me go get into something more comfortable. And he comes out in a suit and tie.
a different like dapper suit and red and blue striped tie.
It's just like dumb shit like that. That's so funny. And like, that style of comedy I think is just great and very like of its time. And I'll see if the remake kind of captures that again, or if it goes a different route.
Yeah. But I'm so excited for it. And as I'm like a new fan, I don't have a lot of nostalgia for the Naked Gun. I think I'm more willing to accept whatever they give us with Liam Neeson. I'm just really interested to see how a slapstick comedy kind of holds up, like a spoof comedy.
Yeah, for sure. Last studio that closed out CinemaCon was Disney. Nothing like super big from here. They kind of just like had the cast of a lot of their movies, like Thunderbolts was there, and a lot of just stuff that we kind of knew about already. They showed some footage of Zootopia 2, Predator Badlands, Avatar Fire and Ash, had some of the cast out there. And then they released the trailer for Tron Ares a couple days ago, which looks pretty cool. Like,
I'm sold on that.
I'm excited. I like the look of it. I like the red bikes, just like going through all the cars and everything. I think that looks cool. And then we're getting music from Nine Inch Nails, not Daft Punk, coming back. But if you're going to have a replacement, like,
that's
Nine
solid,
Inch Nails is sweet. And even like the little bits you hear of it in the trailer sound really cool. So, I don't like love Jared Leto, but hopefully he's not like super weird in this movie. He's always doing the weird thing.
I feel like it's gonna be like a la Blade Runner 2049, that performance. I'm like, I could see him kind of doing that shtick. Who's directing Tron Ares?
It's Joachim Roaring. He did the latest Pirates of the Caribbean movie, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
That's not promising.
And he's done some other stuff too. I don't know why that's the one I remember.
I mean, if that's all you're going to bring up, that is not a promising track record.
I just
Oh, he did Maleficent, Mistress of Evil.
Oh, okay.
Didn't see that. Saw the first Maleficent and liked that enough to not see the second one. But okay, looking through his back catalog, yeah, all right. Well,
Did I get his name right? Joachim?
I think that's how I would pronounce it.
Okay.
I think you got it, yeah.
Cool.
Interesting. If they brought like Joseph Kosinski back for this,
Yeah,
I would have been
sick.
sold. Like the aesthetic, the look of it, seeing the bikes in real life and seeing them enter the real world, and also just like that on the bridge and the cops behind him, and then they ignite the light cycle and it just dissects the car in half. Oh,
Sweet.
so cool. So I'm excited to see what they do with it. I like the scale of it. I really have like a lot of nostalgia for the first Tron movie. I love that movie, and I think it's really like charming with like just how it's not dated, but it is like there's a lot of really cool effects done in that movie, but they don't really hold up that well. But you get the charm of that and watching it. It's a good experience. And Tron Legacy, not the best like written movie, not the best like the CGI sometimes is wonky, mostly just the Jeff Bridges stuff, but the look of it, the style of it, the Daft Punk soundtrack
Holy
is
shit.
one of the best film soundtracks,
awesome.
at least in recent memory. So I'm actually really sold on Tron Ares. I'm really excited for that. The director kind of gives me some pause now that we look into that.
Yeah.
Also, Predator Badlands. That's hell yeah.
that'd be
Give me
sweet.
more Predator, especially after how well done Prey was. I am sold on that.
Yeah, it'll be tight. The only kind of other big thing that was noteworthy, for me at least, was Deliver Me From Nowhere, which is the Bruce Springsteen biopic, directed by Scott Cooper. You got Jeremy Allen White, Jeremy Strong, Paul Walter Hauser in there. I love Scott Cooper. I think he is maybe the most underrated director working today. Like Crazy Heart, obviously another music-based movie.
Out of the Furnace.
Antlers, Pale Blue Eye.
I was going to say, that was the one on Netflix. I still haven't seen that, but I know you really did dig that movie.
Yeah, Pale Blue Eye's awesome. So I just think he's a really good director, and I hope it kind of does something similar, like A Complete Unknown. If it does that sort of vibe, I'd be really into it. I don't want, like we've talked about, just another biopic that's like the rise and fall.
And I don't think that, just based on the little I know about this movie, it is like a very specific point in his career. Like I don't know a lot about Bruce Springsteen. The songs that I know of him that like Born to Run, like the stuff that you hear of Bruce Springsteen, I love that stuff. But I'm not going to try and lie to you and tell you I know everything about him. But I think that this movie takes place after like the release of a very specific album, kind of towards the latter half, or not latter half, but later portions of his career, and not necessarily going to show us the rise and fall of a potential musical figure that we love. So I'm excited by that, and also, yeah, Scott Cooper, Crazy Heart is... I look at Crazy Heart the same way I look at A Star Is Born. Well, I'm like, if Bradley Cooper's character in A Star Is Born didn't do what he did and made it out of that movie, I'm like, you grow up to be Jeff Bridges in Crazy Heart. Like, that's the character arc for you. So I love Scott Cooper. I'm a big fan of his work, and yeah, I'm as, again, not being a big musical biopic person, I'm invested in this one. I'm interested in seeing what they do here, and yeah, I like some of the Boss's music, so I'll happily see it. And anything Jeremy Allen White's going to act in,
For sure.
After Iron Claw, I am sold on this guy, because I've only watched the first season of The Bear, but I am sold on him just based on Iron Claw alone.
He's great.
One thing that we almost completely forgot about, which would have been a fatal flaw in this show, because the movie that this story touches on is a movie that I think is at the very center of mine and Corey's friendship. There was an announcement that came out of fucking nowhere that we're potentially going to be getting a sequel to the Quentin Tarantino classic, even though it came out in 2019. The classic, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The film isn't going to be directed by Tarantino, but it will be written, and I think based on some of the news that I've heard, it's that original movie, the script for the movie critic that he was working on, and he's kind of carrying that over, so we're going to get some overlap with characters, hopefully seeing more Brad Pitt as Cliff Booth, a little bit of Leonardo DiCaprio as Rick Dalton, but it'll be directed by David Fincher, and I think the only down part of this story is that it's going to Netflix, so don't know what the theatrical release is going to be, if there is going to be any, but Corey, a sequel to a movie that is just epitomizes our friendship, and also is the movie that we dressed up as for Halloween. I dressed up as Rick Dalton in like the yellow turtleneck leather suit, and you were Cliff Booth in the denim tuxedo, black shirt, sunglasses, and that was the costume I was wearing when I met my wife on Halloween. So this movie means a lot to both of us. What's your take on this development?
I'm excited just to get more from Cliff Booth.
I need more just wild, weird scenes of him, like, basically falling asleep with a gun in his hand, likely shooting, like, a harpoon through his wife, as he cracks a beer and it fogs up his goggles.
Gets his dog food, drops that in the dish for his dog. Like, him just, like, making mac and cheese in his trailer.
Him high with the knife in his thigh, or, like, his hip, and he's like, whoa, and he, like, taps it.
It's like, oh, acid dip cigarette.
And a combination of matching up Tarantino and David Fincher, what is that?
Unreal.
That is, like, this felt like an April Fool's joke. To me, when I read it, I was like, no way. Like, this can't be happening. I'm so stoked for this. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was easily one of my favorite movies of 2019. It's one of the most, like, rewatchable, chill, non-stop laugh riots for me. Like, I think that movie is infinitely hilarious. Like, I laugh at almost everything in that movie.
Yeah, I hope that this could be, like, an avenue for Tarantino to stick around and do more stuff after his 10th film, which he says will be his last. So, like, if he keeps writing stuff and has somebody else direct it, cool. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, big fan. I can't wait. I'm really eager. I'm hoping this has to be, like, with that kind of, those names attached, that pedigree, this has to be in theaters. So come on, Netflix.
Sure.
If you are the company, the studio behind this movie, you need to put this one in theaters, at least for like a 2-week theatrical run. You'll make your money back. It'll be more than worth it. Also, movies that go to theaters, they tend to do better on streaming once they hit streaming. So maybe just learn from your mistakes and put a movie in theaters, and do that with Wake Up Dead Man. Do that with every big movie that you have coming out, because you're probably going to see better returns on it as opposed to just putting it to your streaming service for it to get forgotten about within the week. But yeah, I can't fucking wait. That is the most insane bit of movie news we got. Moving off of movie news, the movies that we have seen lately, more of the more recent stuff that came out in the passing week or so, or even earlier this year. A big movie that I was not necessarily the most excited to go see, but I have an amazing older brother, and he has 5 amazing children. I was able to go to see a Minecraft movie with my oldest brother Tyler and my nephew Case and my niece Quinn. They were so stoked to go see this movie, and that kind of covered a lot of the sure, I'll go see it. Like, my hesitations about it was kind of smoothed over by just being able to see the sheer excitement of my niece and my nephew for this movie. And I'm not to be too sappy, but who you watch a movie with means more than the movie that you watch. And I love watching movies with my family. I grew up watching movies with my family. I grew up, like, going to my uncle's every weekend to watch movies at his house. There are movies that aren't good but are super nostalgic to me because I watched them with my uncle, like Punisher, Warzone, like Live Free or Die Hard. Like, seeing those with my uncle, I was like, yeah, like, this movie hits. And now I have, like, this undying love for specific movies because of who I watch them with. So I didn't have a lot of anticipation. I played a little bit of Minecraft when I was in college. It's a good stress reliever. It's fun. The music's good. This film is directed by Jared Hess, who has made Napoleon Dynamite. It's fine. Like, it's a classic in its own right, and it's enjoyable enough. But he made Nacho Libre, which is very much that same brand of humor, but Nacho Libre fucking works for me. I love Nacho Libre. That is the weirdest, stupidest, awesome Jack Black movie. I love Jack Black. I love that movie. So I had some things to look forward to in this movie. Also, the reservations of, like, whoa, the trailers have been wild for this. Film stars Jack Black, Jason Momoa, Daniel Brooks. It's the story of this movie is Jumanji. It's the more recent Jumanjis, I should say. Welcome to the Jungle. It's these characters somehow stumbling into the world of this game, stumbling into the world of Minecraft. And that's literally, like, it's just how they figure it out, how they get out, there's not a lot of complexities, there's not a lot of revolutionary things done in this movie. The visual effects kind of teeter. Sometimes you'll be like, wow, it's really well done here, or wow, you're really in front of a green screen, or the villagers have this really weird look to them where it's, like, really on that uncanny valley line of, like, I am so put off by this. There's a subplot with Jennifer Coolidge that has some, like, laughable moments but could completely be axed from this movie. All that to say, I absolutely loved watching this movie. One, because I saw it with my niece and my nephew, my older brother. We had a couple of beers in us too, so that was great. My brother and I, not my niece and my nephew.
I was gonna say,
no, I had to
8-year-old just tossed back a Bud
make sure
Light.
I outline that. But I got to see, for the first time in my life, a movie through the eyes of a younger family member. And I got to watch because I sat right next to my nephew Case, and anything that happened on screen, because I don't know everything in Minecraft, and he was just on it, just explaining like, oh, that's what that is, that's what that is, he's so hard to beat in the game, that's who this is, oh, he has a diamond pickaxe, like, that's sick, and he's just calling shots on everything, pointing at the screen, talking full volume, as every other kid, because we were in a theater that was packed of kids, and kids were clapping, kids were cheering, kids were just like, oh my god, run, Steve, and just like having the time of their fucking lives, and it was the most infectious film going experience I could have ever had, because like the movie quality wise, it's not bad, it's like a C. Like if you go in what you're like thinking what you're gonna get, you're gonna get what you expect, and you're gonna hopefully like it. And I did. I'm like, yeah, it's Jumanji, or the best comparison I have for the quality of this movie and kind of the critic reception and the audience reception, because there's a bit of a divide there. If you look at like the Rotten Tomatoes on critic score, it says like a 40 something, 48, and audiences in the 80s. The best comparison I have to this movie is another video game movie, Super Mario Brothers. That movie didn't have the best critical reception, but the audience score is pretty freaking high, and that movie made bank. As Minecraft movie might also make just bank and gangbusters, hopefully this opening weekend and weekends to come. But when you go into the Super Mario movie, if you go in expecting like a good fun time at the theaters with Mario and the characters, I don't see how you leave that theater disappointed or not liking that movie. And I feel like if you kind of color yourself in that same realm, or going with those same glasses on of, I'm just going in to have a good time in the world of Minecraft and with these characters and these actors, and Jason Momoa being this big dumb dude who's just like way past his prime trying to make money, and Jack Black who's like, oh yeah, I yearn for the mines and shit like that, you're gonna have a good enough time. And you get like the weird humor of Jared Hess. Again, he made Napoleon Dynamite, he made Nacho Libre. There's a lot of references to tater tots in this movie. A little bit of a callback to Napoleon Dynamite. There's a moment where Jack Black is wrestling. Callback a little bit to Nacho Libre. Love that shit. If you don't like this movie, fine. I probably understand your reasoning. But I think I was just so set up for success with who I got to see this movie with, to see how they reacted to the movie, but also to hear kids just cheering. This is the movie I like more so than Avengers Endgame. I haven't heard this amount of clapping in a fucking theater in my life. Like anything that happened, like a little baby zombie riding a chicken, just little kids just like, yes, yes, give it to, like, hell yeah. I'm like, damn, y'all are hyped right now. Like, oh my God. And getting out of the theater and like my nephew, I'm like, hey, what'd you think of it? Did you like it? He's like, I loved it. I'm like, okay, that's all that matters. So
nice.
That is the best way I could talk about this movie. I need to post a review to our Instagram. I likely will tomorrow. And I'm like, I don't know how to rate this movie, because quality-wise, it is that C+. Like, it's good. It's fine. It's not great. But it's such a great time. And the impact and the nostalgia I know I'm going to grow and have with this movie in the years to come is going to make this like an A+ movie for me. So I already pre-ordered the Steelbook moments after leaving the theater when I was sitting in my car. So yeah, I love this movie. If you don't like it, I understand. If you liked it, I understand.
Yeah, I'm glad you had such a good time watching it. That sounds like just a fun, like very pure experience.
Literally top 5 theater going experiences in my life.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it sounds like it's going to do pretty well box office wise, which we need right now. So
thankfully, yeah.
Inject a little bit of life, which is great for the theaters. I was catching up. I didn't watch anything new in theaters this week, but I wanted to watch something recent. So I did a little Den of Thieves marathon because the sequel came out in January. So I went back and watched the first Den of Thieves, which came out in 2018. And you got Gerard Butler, you got O'Shea Jackson Jr., 50 Cent. So that's always fucking awesome.
Solid.
Just see him in there. And it's essentially, it's a bank heist. Gerard Butler's on the LA County Sheriff's Department, and he's hunting down these bank robbers who O'Shea Jackson Jr. and 50 Cent are a part of, and they're trying to rob the Federal Reserve in LA. And a lot of comparisons to this movie, people have compared it to Heat, and there obviously are a lot of similarities there, but I actually really dug the first Den of Thieves movie. I think it's really solid. There is a lot of really good action, and especially, like, it may sound weird, but like just the actual heist and the getaway of the heist itself, both really sweet. Like, I liked a lot of there's some clever moments of how they're doing the heist that I enjoyed, and then the getaway is like this car chase for a bit, and then they're backed up in traffic, and it's a shootout that's really fucking sweet. and was just like pure macho action from Gerard Butler, who's just really trying to just be this tough guy. He's like, yeah, my name's Big Nick. Oh. You're like, all right. Well, and
you
like
have a collect call coming from Mike.
And it's just him doing that, and I'm like, is this working? Like I think it does for this movie. But he's fun, and it's just a really solid heist movie. It's nothing like fucking amazing, like not one of my favorites from that year, but really solid. The sequel, Den of Thieves Pantera, like I said, came out in January. You got the same director, Christian Gudegas, from the first movie, and then Gerard Butler and O'Shea Jackson Jr. coming back. And this one kind of gets weird. Gerard Butler teams up with Ice Cube's kid, and then they do a heist, and then spoiler alert, I guess, for Den of Thieves 2 Pantera.
Oh no!
Yeah, they team up for the heist, and then they do it, and then Gerard Butler's, unsurprisingly like, no, you guys are gonna get arrested. I've been fooling you the whole time.
Haha, it was a ruse.
Yeah, but like when Gerard Butler says that he wants to join the robbery crew, O'Shea Jackson Jr. is like, yeah, sure, you can join. It's like, no, you just tried to arrest you last movie, like literally like a couple months ago, like in the movie world.
Within the world of the movie.
Yeah. But he just like lets him on the crew. They do the heist, which again, the heist in this movie is really cool. It's at a diamond exchange, so they're trying to get like in this vault that has all the diamonds and shit, which is really fun. And then again, the getaway of it is really cool too. They're trying to like time out all the security cameras and like just really fun stuff. Good heist, classic stuff you see in heist movies. But then, Gerard Butler's like, actually, I arrested you guys. And then he's like, actually, I kind of feel bad about that. So then he breaks...
Psych, I'm sorry.
So then he like helps to break O'Shea Jackson Jr. out of prison. And then that's how the movie ends. And I think they're working on a third one, they announced. So,
are you excited to see the third one? Would you see the third one?
I'd see the third one.
Would you see it in theaters?
Yeah, I'd check it out. I'm a sucker for heist movies.
Me too.
I love them. Even like ones that draw a lot of inspiration from other ones, or that are just kind of generic. I still find a lot of enjoyment in them. I like the gearing up scenes of them getting the stuff, the cars ready. Like, it's fucking sweet.
That and like the whole A-Team quote, I love it when a plan comes together. Just seeing like the plan get detailed, and when it works or when it fucks up and like there's like mistakes. My favorite, from what I remember when Den of Thieves came out in 2018, all I heard was like, it's good, but it's just like watered down Heat. And I'm like, okay, like I don't know if I need to rush to see it. And I just never did see it. I haven't seen either of these movies, but I've heard like pretty like regularly like good things about both. So maybe I'll check them out, because like heist movies like Rafifi, awesome. The Bank Job with Jason Statham, awesome. Like The Killing from Stanley Kubrick, awesome movie.
Yeah,
heist movies are so much fun.
Yeah, I definitely like the first one more than Pantera. Pantera, both movies are like 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Both long.
And like each movie, the last half is the heist and getaway. The first half I think works better in the first movie of like the setup. The second movie is just like them getting drunk at a bar and like just at parties and shit. I'm like, I don't really care about this. But they're like pretty well directed though. Good solid movies, good action. A big problem I had was the amount of title cards that come up in both movies, of like not only the locations, every single location, not just like LA. It's like the Federal Reserve Bank, back room at the Sheriff's Department office. And I'm like, I don't need this. But then a fucking character would come on screen and it would be like Holloway, or like their name, or like Hawthorne, or whatever it is.
For the first time? Like, first time we
see that? But only some characters.
Oh.
Like, very randomly.
Where do we draw the line?
And then, so it would do that so much through both movies. And I'm like, there's got to be like 20 title cards that pop up in each movie, which is just crazy. Fucking insane. That's a pet peeve just in any movie. Like, if you need the location to do it, limit it. Yeah. I don't need to know. Like, I can understand where we are. But
yeah, and I always like in the Captain America...
Cleveland.
Cleveland. Queens. Like, I like just like the boom, it's flashed on the screen and you hear the music and it has like a little bit of like, it's just baked into the transition to that next scene, as opposed to like the type font of like, especially like when it's like the Pentagon or like shit like that. I'm like, I know that's the Pentagon.
White House. Like,
I know what that is. But yeah, damn, maybe I'll have to check these out eventually.
Yeah, I'd recommend the first one for sure. It's pretty fun.
Okay. A movie that also came out this past week, I wasn't really going to rush out to go see it, and I didn't know about it until we actually reported on it last week doing the podcast, but Freaky Tales, directed by Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, which is the team that teamed up for Captain Marvel, which I actually think is kind of an underrated MCU movie. Like, there's good fun to be had in there. and Mississippi Grind, which is an amazing Ben Mendelsohn, Ryan Reynolds movie. I love that movie. Freaky Tales is a bit of like an anthology type movie. It's these 4 interconnected stories kind of weaving by, through, and connecting with each other, all set in 1987 Oakland. And it's just this weird movie about like the love of music, movies, weird shit going on. There's a green glow in the sky that everyone sees, and then there's a basketball player that's playing really well, and the cast is kind of like quietly stacked. I'm not going to give away because there's an amazing cameo in this movie that fucking floored me. I was like, how did I not hear about this? One, it is a very small movie, so that kind of explains it. But it's a massive actor in this cameo that shook me. But the leads mostly are Pedro Pascal, Ben Mendelsohn, and Jay Ellis. And it's just this. It's 1987 Oakland. It's people at this metal concert venue that are throwing on metal concerts because they love it. They love the fun of it. They love the conglomerate of people that this type of concert attracts. And Nazis show up and try and like break their shit. And they're like, how do we deal with the Nazis? They're like, we're gonna fucking fight them. Like, we're just gonna beat the shit out of the Nazis. And how that connects to Pedro Pascal, who's performing one last job and something goes awry or something goes wrong, and now he's just like at the point in his life where he's like, fuck it, if I die, I die. I'm just gonna go out on a high note. And Ben Mendelsohn's this weird crooked cop flirting with these 2 women at this ice cream shop, who both these women are aspiring rappers, and Ben Mendelsohn's just being an absolute creep, which Ben Mendelsohn has been in Captain Marvel, Mississippi Grind, and now this movie. So I like that kind of partnership and that reoccurring actor in these films with those directors. I really enjoyed this movie. It is kind of like that anthology. Like, you get like the chapter telling of this film. You get chapter 1, this story, and it's about these people. Chapter 2, it's this story, it's these people. It overlaps a little bit with parts of the first one, and then like chapter 3. So it's really like it's episodic in a way, and it kind of, whenever you do that in movies, for me, I feel like, especially like anthology, it lends itself to like, all right, I'm automatically, without thought, gonna rank these in my head of like which one was the best, which one was the worst, which one did I not care about, which one was the like just the most engaging. And sometimes that's like the one flaw I have with like this type of storytelling or this style of anthology film storytelling. Like, I'm gonna be comparing different distinct chunks of this movie because you have so eloquently separated them for me. But like, there was no real like weak point. Like, each chapter, because there's 4 chapters, each chapter really worked for me. There's parts that I'm like, this is getting kind of boring, and then it ended. And I was like, oh, okay. I love the style of it. It's very like pulpy, like just throwdown. There's a great freaking throwdown towards the end of like revisionist history of a player for the Oakland basketball team back in the 80s. I forget the player's name, so I need to look that up right now. But it was just this basketball player who he's playing in the playoffs, and all these players on his team are in the playoffs. So this group realizes like, oh, all these players are going to be at the game. Their houses are going to be left unattended. This guy's got like supposedly a really good like back catalog of like artifacts and historical things that we could steal and make a pretty penny on. So why don't we try and break in and go and steal the stuff? And it's loosely based on true events and some bad things that happen. And it was just such a interesting story, such an interesting take on things. But you do get a little bit of that revisionist history that kind of is popularized by Quentin Tarantino and stuff. So it's the only thing I can really relate it to with Inglourious Basterds or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, of people just correcting things to make it better for the good people in the world. Oh, it's Sleepy Floyd.
Oh, yeah.
Sleepy Floyd so this happened in real life, I believe. He got back and his girlfriend was murdered and his mom was left concussed. And you'd think the movie would end there. Like, oh, it was a bad thing that happened. Sleepy Floyd, apparently in this movie, existing within this movie, is like this Tai Chi god. Just, he meditates, and then he puts on, like, he almost dresses up like Blade. And he just goes to this house where all these people that perpetrated this crime, they're all Nazis. Big through line is that Nazis are bad. Great, love that in this movie. Goes to this house and just wrecks shop. And it's just a bloodbath. And I'm like, did not expect this from this movie. Love to see it. Anyway, I'm talking way too in-depth on this movie. A movie I didn't have really any expectation on except for kind of liking the director's previous works. Freaky Tales is a very good, fun time at the theaters. It's been kind of a slow past couple of weeks at the theaters, so if you're looking for something to go and see, yeah, we have a new kind of slate coming up this week, but Freaky Tales is a good movie. It's a good enough time. I think you can bring a couple people to it and have a really nice time. Get a couple drinks in you, get a little loud.
Didn't expect a Sleepy Floyd.
Sleepy Floyd. I'm like, what's going on here?
Wow. Yeah, I have not seen it yet. My only exposure to Freaky Tales is people that wore tails in high school.
Oh,
that's freaky.
Okay. And what a connection you're making. Yeah,
freaky. I try and do that.
I also didn't support that. Yeah, I hated that, and like, I'm all for people doing the shit that makes them happy as long as it doesn't impede on the things that I'm doing. Like, whatever. You do your own thing. I'm not going to yuck your yum. But then I would get the satisfaction of like that one asshole in your class that would just run up and like snag the tail. And you're like, I recognize you're doing a bad thing, but I'm also on your side. So
it's Freaky Tales, man.
Freaky Tales, dude. Am I right?
Freaky Tales of Freaky Tales.
Yeah. So go check that out if it's still shown in a theater near you. I can't imagine it's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah. Last little thing that we both watched this week was episode 7 of Daredevil Born Again. Spoiler alert for this episode if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, big spoiler.
Yeah, this episode for me kind of highlighted a lot of the problems I have with the show
so far,
with this season. Muse dies at the end, and we've really gotten like
an episode
a total, like episode and a half, 2 episodes of like getting to know him or like seeing what he's doing. So killing him off in a very mediocre fight scene that wasn't really all that exciting was disappointing to me. I'm also just like not that interested in Fisk being mayor. I know that's like the whole point of this season. I just liked when he was the crime boss.
Yeah.
I'd be fine if he was just kind of doing that with Vanessa, because she's kind of running shit behind the scenes and doing her whole thing. So yeah, I don't know. This one for me, and again, a lot of the dialogue between like Matt and Heather is like, especially Heather's dialogue is just so on the nose.
Yeah.
Of just like, you're wearing a mask, you're a coward. I'm like,
that.
Ugh.
The books that she's writing of like living with like something without fear and life behind a mask, it's like, of course she's writing books about this type of material, and then also dating ex Daredevil, like post Daredevil.
Yeah. Damn, brother. Nice.
That was necessary. I was choking on that burp for so long.
I can see you gearing up for that.
Yeah, I had to work that out. Anyways, yeah, kind of like what you said. This is definitely the weakest length in terms of this season of Daredevil that we've gotten so far. I really was so excited for Muse, and if they try to bring Muse back, I'm gonna hate what they did more, because stop killing and reviving people, it just takes all the tension out of it. Yeah, we've gotten no time to really delve into Muse. We've gotten like some of like the nastiness of him, which I appreciate. I wish they would go further with it. Like, come on, like Netflix Daredevil would have been like, oh no, he is like skinning people, like he's doing shit, like he's doing bad stuff. And like the final scene between him and Heather, like Muse and Heather, when it's just like this is just gonna boil down to him being like, people are finally seeing me for who I am truly, and it's just like, really, this is what we're doing. And I don't like Heather at all. I don't like her character with Matt. I could do without that dynamic, and it was so rushed getting to this point in the show. And getting Matt back into the suit of Daredevil, like that was just boom. All right, Muse is a problem. All right, I got a suit on, and now Muse is dead. And I'm like, that's it. Like we've had Daredevil for an episode and a half, 2 episodes, and Muse is now solved and gone. Which I don't know what they have intended for later on this season or later on next season potentially. But if they bring Muse back, it's just going to make me further pissed off about how they handled this now. I'm cool with the Wilson Fisk as mayor stuff. To a degree, like sometimes I'm just like, it was more enjoyable when you were just the bad guy, just like pulling all the strings, even behind the scenes. But I do like watching him just like get fed up with like the bureaucratic rigmarole bullshit of just like, oh my god, I just want to fill this fucking pothole. Like, can we just do that? Like, I need to fill out paperwork.
This city.
Yeah, that scene too. So like, there's enjoyment that I have with that, and I like him trying to distance himself from the Kingpin like villain crime boss look that he used to have, and then you get that moment where he's beating the shit out of Adam, and it's like, oh no, Kingpin is still within Mayor Fisk. Like, I like that, but I think it's just been so rushed to this point to getting us to Muse, and so rushed with how they wrapped up Muse so quickly. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And for Heather to kill Muse, I was like, why? Like, sure, this might have kind of reoccurring effects later on, and this might further develop Heather as a character that maybe I'll like more. But I'm just like, I feel like I needed to see Matt cross the line now. I need, like, especially if you look back at episode 4 when he talked to the Punisher, he's like, yeah, like, I hear the voices every day. My boys tell him to get him. And I'm like, I want that moment for Matt now. Like, I want him to break. I want him, like, he's back. He's Daredevil. Now have him hit an absolute fucking low. Have him gouge out Muse's eyes. Have him have just a brawl out bloodbath between him and Muse. And I'm like, that's the way he's just going to go out. And I don't know. It's not the worst episode of Disney Plus MCU shows that I've ever seen. It's pretty like middle of the road. It's
still good, but
in terms of what they had going for it, I'm like, that's all. Like, it was just a disappointment.
Yeah. So we'll see. I got 2 more episodes left of this season, so we'll have a full review once we have a full scope of the season.
Yeah.
But coming up this week, in theaters, we've got The Amateur, which I've seen this trailer so many
40
fucking
times. Yeah.
You got Rami Malek starring as a guy in the CIA who is trying to go after a group of terrorists after they kill his wife, who's played by Rachel Brosnahan. You see this in the trailer, so that's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
They kind of do the Southpaw thing. That same like plot point of like, oh, this big thing happens, and we're gonna tell you in the trailer.
And the wife's dead.
Yeah.
And now he's mad.
This big mad guy. Yeah, I don't know. This looks just like very generic action movie that I someday will see on TNT.
I didn't know John Bernthal was in this.
Yeah.
Has he been shown in the trailers?
I don't know if he has, but I was like looking.
Is he like the big bad?
Cast.
Like, what's going on?
I don't know what's happening.
Like, that's a big name to
love
not have
John
shown us.
Bernthal.
I do too, yeah.
But I don't plan on seeing this movie. Maybe it's just the trailer burnout.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I'm sold on Rami Malek.
I'm just more intrigued by like his post-Oscar career.
Yeah.
Whatever he wanted to be attached to this, I've seen this trailer too many times. I'm not interested. It just looks formulaic, and I'm not sold on it. But it could offer a good like little action thriller. Like, I don't like this. At best, this could be like a pleasant surprise. Like, I'm not expecting this movie to be great. It could just be like, oh wow, like they did some really cool things, and it was like decent action movie. All right, whatever. But it feels pretty formulaic of just like a man seeking revenge for his wife's death. It's like, okay, so this and 400 other movies that happened in the past like 3 years. But a movie that I have seen the trailer for probably more than The Amateur, and I have been progressively more pissed off about, is Drop, directed by Christopher Landon. God, I hate this trailer. I hate this. The trailer, I've seen this trailer so many times, I will go to the bathroom during this trailer. I will leave the theater to not see this trailer again. Christopher Landon kind of has like a rocky filmography for me, or like record with me. I hate Happy Death Day, but some days I love Happy Death Day. But then I buy Happy Death Day and watch it again. I'm like, I fucking hate this movie. Why did I buy it? And then I'll sell it, and then I'll be like, I should rewatch Happy Death Day, and then I'll buy it. It's just this cyclical bullshit cycle that I exist within, much like the character in Happy Death Day, where I'm like, does this thing work for me or does it not? Never saw Happy Death Day 2 because of my relationship to Happy Death Day 1, but I do love Freaky. I love Vince Vaughn in that movie. I think that's a really fun movie. So, but he has like the same kind of vibe, even within this trailer for Drop, which stars Megan Fahey,
I think.
Sure. And Brandon Skellner.
Killing it today, bud.
Dude, I don't mean disrespect, but for this movie, maybe I do. It's fine. We'll throw it on. It's about a widowed mother's first date. Yes, I'll settle down. A widowed mother's first date in years, and then, fuck it. Let's talk about a different movie. I don't even care. Just shit hits the fan. She's on this date. Someone's texting her like, "Oh, you need to kill your date, otherwise I'm gonna invade your house and kill your son." And she's like, "Well, who are you? Where are you? Are you in the house? Are you in this restaurant? How do you know me? Why do I need to kill my date?" I don't give a fuck. And people I've heard like pre-screening shit of like, oh, it's like really good. And I'm like, fuck you. No, it's not. Like, it can't be. Like, if this movie has sold you and you want to see it, go support it. But God, has this movie pissed me off before I've even like stepped in the door to even contemplate buying a ticket for it. This movie looks fucking dumb as shit. It looks like a poor man's phone booth.
Ditto.
Yeah, let's talk about a better movie.
I am really excited for this next movie. Warfare is coming out, which is directed by Ray Mendoza, who is a Iraq War veteran, and it really hit the Trump Iraq.
Damn.
And Alex Garland.
Let's cut that shit right now.
Alex Garland, obviously, Ex Machina, Annihilation, Men, Civil War, which is fucking awesome. We've talked about that movie a lot. We both love it. We got really good cast in here. Will Poulter, Joseph Quinn, Michael Gandolfini, who's also in Daredevil Born Again right now. It's about a platoon of Navy SEALs who are on a dangerous mission in Iraq, and the chaos and brotherhood of war are retold through their memories of the event. So I've heard this movie is just like fucking intense, and just you're in the shit for the whole movie. You're just in like very small and kind of secluded like
Confined
locations.
areas.
Yeah. So that sounds right up my alley. I love war movies, so I am really looking forward to this one. And Alex Garland, I mean, dude is just always putting out very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like everybody's cup of tea, like Men especially, which like I like half of that movie.
I like the majority of that movie.
You freak.
It gets wild,
Yeah.
and I remember seeing that with my wife, and she was just like, "Oh my God, it's happening again! Oh, it's happening again!
It's like,
oh, it's being born out of the back of him now." Okay,
yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one looks sweet. The trailers I think have looked really, really good. So I will definitely be seeing this one in theaters.
and it's another A24 movie, so you kind of get the expected accolades with that already, and the cast is really strong. I'm excited just to see more Michael Gandolfini. Alex Garland, he has an awesome track record, even if it's not a movie that I absolutely love. Like, I really enjoy Annihilation. I don't love it outright, but that movie left me, like, just...
You're thinking about it.
Yeah, just fractured after that movie. So, and Civil War, like, if for him to follow up Civil War with a movie like this, I'm like, fuck, this is gonna be nuts. Because Civil War had me on like the edge of my seat, and also like my stomach hurt. I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch this anymore. So I'm excited to see this. I'm sure it's gonna be quite a trip. It's definitely the ones that we've talked about out of these three new releases that I'm gonna be seeing first, and probably the only one of these three that I'm gonna be seeing. But really excited about that. Bless you.
Bring them out. Bring them out.
Oh, were we supposed to do that again?
I don't know.
Call back to the last time we did that, like 8 episodes ago.
Yeah.
But a little bit of physical media roundup. Talking about what we purchased lately. I already mentioned that I pre-ordered the 4K Steelbook for a Minecraft movie, which I am so stoked for. I can't wait to have that on my shelf, and it's just like I don't think I love it for the meme of it. I think I love it because it meant a lot. But also, I watched a movie that we will talk about in a little bit here, back from the 1960s, that featured a performance by Burt Lancaster, who is kind of a big heavy hitter, kind of all-time one of the best actors. He's a name that gets thrown around a lot. But he was in a film called Sweet Smell of Success. I purchased that, and it was the Criterion Blu-ray that I picked up. I bought that because I think I saw a review of Scorsese, like even saying like, damn, this is like one of my favorite movies. And anytime a director I really respect or really like says this movie, I'm like, all right, I'll go see it. And I really dug Burt Lancaster in the movie I watched with him in it this past week. So I'm just kind of eager to see more work from him.
Right on. I did not purchase anything this week. Probably good after our trip to the bar last night. Looked at the receipt this morning. I'm like, whoa.
Oh, how bad were you?
More than I thought, I guess. I don't even remember signing the
I had
thing.
one old fashioned and 3 Miller Lights, and it was like $30, 32.
I had like 5 or 6 old fashions.
Okay, so you had like you had a little bit. Yeah, yours was probably a little bit more steep than mine. Yeah.
Which is crazy. I think I put our buddy's drink on my tab too, so I'm like, I don't.
His Sprite and water. He had the most unreal.
Shout out to Dylan.
Yeah, shout out to Dylan. That is the most unreal bar order I've ever heard. I don't know if he drinks or not, which if you do, that is still one of the most gangbusters bar order of, can I have a Sprite and some water?
Hilarious.
But like water it down. And then clearly the bartender had no idea what you meant by that, by bringing over a bottle of 7-Up and a tall glass of water, and she's like, is this enough? Is this what you want?
Does this work?
That was such a crazy order. It was so funny.
Love it. But yeah, anyways, this is a pretty slow release week. Really, the only notable things, The Long Kiss Goodnight is coming out on 4K aerial video release, and then Some Like It Hot is coming out on 4K from Criterion. Holy fuck, can't talk. So kind of an off week. Next week should be some more newer things.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't seen Long Kiss Goodnight, but definitely check out Some Like It Hot. It's one of my favorite comedies. Moving into a different chunk of the show, where these are movies that we've seen over this past week, but they're a little bit more of the like less relevant. Some of the older ones that we just caught up on or just randomly watched. That Burt Lancaster movie that I was talking about was Judgment at Nuremberg from 1961, and I mentioned that this is the last movie I had on my movie shelf that I needed to get through before I was like fully caught up with all the movies I own. This film, directed by Stanley Kramer, who is the director of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner and Inherit the Wind. We talked about Tombstone having a stacked cast at the top of the show. This film also stacked cast. Spencer Tracy, Burt Lancaster, a lot of these people are like classic Hollywood actors. Judy Garland, which I don't know if I've really seen much of Judy Garland outside of Wizard of Oz, but damn can she act, because this movie, she floored me. Maximilian Schell, also in this film, won Best Actor in a Leading Role for this film. We also had Montgomery Clift, Richard Widmark, and a interesting, like, holy shit, is that William Shatner? It's William Shatner. William Shatner's in this movie, too, so that caught me off guard. This is a film about the fictionalized depiction of the 1947 judges' trial of the third of 12 trials of Nazi war criminals conducted by the American occupying forces in Nuremberg, Germany, in which former judges of Nazi Germany were tried for their actions. And like I mentioned, it did win Best Actor in a Leading Role for Maximilian Schell and Best Adapted Screenplay. Or it had a different terminology back then, but now it's known as Best Adapted Screenplay. It won that Oscar. This is a 3-hour-long courtroom drama, black and white film based around people talking. And it was awesome. And I feel like I've pitched movies or have summed movies up similarly to this and have said they're awesome. But in terms of a courtroom drama, every actor, every performance, every monologue has like their nail in the coffin, like, fucking one-up this. And then the next person will go and they'll one-up it. And I'm like, I don't understand how you write this movie and how every single exchange ends with someone just clearing house with what they say. And I'm like, there's no coming back from that. Like, yes, these judges are guilty. They need to be put in prison for life for what they did during Nazi Germany. And then someone will rebut what was said and immediately just turn it on its head. It was such like a back and forth that I didn't expect. And it does handle a lot of like difficult themes of like these men who were judges during the reign of Nazi Germany. Before this reign, they were good judges. They were good men. They had good morals. But now, because they were judges during this time period in life, are they bad men? And it really does a lot of good work with that idea of just what makes someone bad. And just because you had the right mindset or you intended the right thing or meant to do the right thing, if you allowed something like Nazi Germany to kind of rise up around you, how can we judge you? How can we judge you and say you were a good person if you allowed some of the worst atrocities in the world to ever happen? How did you allow that to happen? This movie floored me. Again, it is 3 hours long. It's black and white. Spencer Tracy is the lead judge in this film, and he floored me. I haven't seen many films with Spencer Tracy in it as well, but the cast was fantastic. I really did dig this movie. It feels like a movie you'd watch in like history class in high school, and I mean that in the best way, because I feel like the movies I watched in history class were Saving Private Ryan and The Schindler's List. So if you haven't seen Judgment at Nuremberg, if you haven't heard of it, I think it's worth checking out. Obviously, it is a movie from the 1960s, and it's a long one. So know what you're getting into, but this is a movie where the words are the weapons, dialogue-driven, awesome courtroom scenes, awesome monologues, perfect acting. Judy Garland surprised me. Burt Lancaster was amazing in this movie. Just almost no notes, except for the very end. I feel like I never was waiting for it to end. I was always enthralled by this movie. But there's one dialogue exchange towards the very end between Spencer Tracy and Burt Lancaster where maybe 2 sentences were said where I'm like, that felt out of place. And that's literally it. Within this 3-hour movie, 2 sentences didn't work for me. So I would highly recommend it. I know probably a lot of people, if you are listening to this, you probably haven't seen this movie, not to be elitist like that, but it's a movie from the 1960s and it's 3 hours long. You probably didn't watch this one. And that's fine, but I'm saying give it a chance.
Right on. Yeah, I want to check that one out too. I've heard lots of good things about that. In my Alphabet rewatch, about halfway through now, it was on the letter L, so I decided to watch Les Miserables from 2012 from acclaimed director Tom Hooper, who made Cats.
Yep, I was wondering where you're going to start with his filmography of what his notable...
He also did like the King's Speech or whatever.
Oh yeah, like one of the best Picture winners.
Yeah, whatever. But Cats, fuck yeah.
Just dumpster fire movies, yeah.
So this was, my first time watching it. Like I said, came out in 2012. And it's based on the Victor Hugo book from fucking 150 years ago or whatever it is. Yep. Takes place in 19th century France, and Jean Valjean, played by Hugh Jackman, who for decades has been hunted by ruthless policeman Javert, played by Russell Crowe. After breaking parole, he agrees to care for a factory worker's daughter, and the decision changes their lives together. Very dramatic from IMDb.
Yeah,
a little synopsis there. This movie... This one didn't work for me all that well. I actually do enjoy musicals. I mean, my favorite movie of all time is a musical. I wouldn't say it's my favorite genre, and I don't love sung-through musicals, which is where they're singing 99% of the dialogue, and there's like a couple connecting things where they're singing and they're like, all right, he's over there. He's over there. It's like, what are we doing here? It's just like, it's very like, I don't know, it takes me out of the movie a little bit. And, like, not to say that the music's bad. Like, I think a lot of the songs are good. Yeah. It is just tough to differentiate which songs are which because they all carry over into each other.
It's like, where's the cutoff?
Yeah, like, I couldn't, like, name you a song from this movie. Everything about the movie is, like, really solid, though. All the performances are great. Anne Hathaway won Best Supporting Actress here. And she has a lot of great scenes early on in the movie. Her singing monologue scene, just of close-up shot of her. That's her Oscar, scene, her Oscar clip. So she was great. I wish she was in the movie more because I actually really liked her. And then she died, and I was like, okay.
Shit,
damn it. But this movie also won an Oscar for makeup and hairstyling and sound mixing, and then it was nominated for picture. Hugh Jackman got nominated as well. Costume design, original song, production design. So it was in a lot of categories that year. And that's, a big reason why I watched it. Just a heavy hitter from, recent Oscar history that I hadn't seen. So I'm glad I've checked it out. I think Tom Hooper does a good job with the direction. I am interested in the story. Like, I was interested in what was going on. I think it is just too long. It's like 2.5 hours, a little over 2.5.
It's maybe like closer to 240.
Yeah, 240, something like that. And I don't know, just a lot of stuff like Sacha Baron Cohen and Helena Bonham Carter are very, like, shady and kind of, like, swindling people out of money in this movie, and I just, like, never cared about them.
Oh, I really like them.
I'm like, you guys are here, like, you're doing your thing. I'm like, and then Eddie Redmayne's there, like, and I'm like, oh, you're, like, a big part of this movie.
Yeah.
And it's, like, his relationship with Amanda Seyfried, and they, like, look at each other once in the street, and then they sing about how they love each other. I'm like, okay, all right. And then they're, like, touching each other through a gate, and they're like, we are meant to be together. I'm like, really? You just, like, saw him, like, for 10 seconds before. Like, this is the crux of this movie is based on that? That's wild. And then fucking Russell Crowe's trying to sing.
Yeah, he does get, yeah.
I'm like, and I know that's, like, been the complaint that I've heard from this movie is, like...
And I'm shuffling.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. Just talk. Like, just talk to me, dude. And I think it stands out more just because, like, Hugh Jackman's obviously a really good singer. Anne Hathaway, Amanda Seyfried, like, everybody sounds really good except for Russell Crowe in the movie. Not that I think his performance is bad, but just the singing I don't think is good. So, I don't know. This one for me didn't quite work. I really wanted to love it, but this was my first exposure to Les Miserables. I haven't seen the movie, I think from like the 80s or 90s with Liam Neeson.
Yeah, I was going to say Liam Neeson.
I haven't seen that one, which I know is not a musical. So, I'd maybe check that one out. But yeah, I don't know. I thought, I'm glad I've watched it. Check it off the list, but it didn't quite work for me.
Yeah. I always really liked this movie. I've only seen it twice. I saw it in 2012. One only because... I like musicals, but I had a crush on a girl that really liked this movie in middle school. And I was like, yep, all right, I'm going to watch this. Watched it, and then I was texting her about it to try and, like, schmooze her with, like, yeah, Javert's kind of, like, rough in this movie. Like, just trying to be just a total tool. But I actually really like this movie, and I've seen it since, and it still really works for me. It is too long. It's a long haul of a movie, but I really do enjoy it. And, like, the sing-through musicals, if that's not your thing, it's going to wear on you quick. Because as someone who I'm like, I'm fine with it, it still wore on me. I'm like, we could throw just like a normal, right? We can just throw a normal conversation here right now, right, please? And I actually really like Russell Crowe in this movie, even though, yeah, he's not the best singer. I just, the shot of him... Spoiler alert for a movie from 2012 when he dies.
Oh, he bangs off that fucking thing.
That shot's awesome, dude. I love that. Like, it sounds weird to be like, I love it when this dude just leaps off a bridge.
Crumples.
Yeah, but everything just is so exceptionally well done. in terms of the set decoration, the design, and the directing of it. It just looks so good, and the singing, like 98% of it is awesome. So yeah, this movie's always really worked. I'm happy that you saw it because it is kind of like, it's not like the biggest Oscar-nominated movie ever, but I feel like for when we were growing up and really starting to look at the Oscars, this was one of the ones, at least for me, that was like, oh, like, this is what an awards movie is. Like, this is what a good quality movie is. And then you watch it, I really like it, you kind of more like, whatever. But if you haven't seen it, I think it's worth a watch, but if you're not a sing-through musical person, good luck. You'll see how long you get into it. We are getting towards the end of the show, so knowing that we needed to end on a high note, actually this is just the biggest botched thing ever of putting this as the last thing we're going to talk about on this episode. Hell yeah. A movie that another movie from 2012, it was released in February 2012. I was really excited to watch when I was 12, and then I never watched it, and then I was like, you know what, I'll watch it. I rented it on Amazon Prime for $3.98. Too much. And with like those rentals, it gives you a 48-hour period once you start watching it. I had to watch this like 90-odd minute movie through 5 different watches within 2 days, and that was hard to do. I watched Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance, directed by Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor, who there's some of their movies that I fucking love. I love Crank. And I love Crank 2 High Voltage. That movie is bonkers wild. I remember renting that movie from Blockbuster, which, like, a lot of their movies, they're just like the bargain bin Blockbuster weird finds that aren't good, but you get enjoyment out of. They also made Gamer with Gerard Butler. Film stars Nicolas Cage as good old Johnny Blaze, the little Ghost Rider himself. Idris Elba also is here for some reason. And Syrian Hines. Okay, he's like a good actor. What are you doing in this piece of shit movie? Johnny Blaze, tortured by the Ghost Rider's curse, gets a chance of redemption through protecting the devil's son, whose father is pursuing him. So the devil is pursuing him, and the editing of this movie is the most atrocious, in-your-face violation I've ever experienced in a movie. And, like, I don't mean it in, like, the most, like, pessimistic way. Like, I was like, what is this random bullshit they're throwing at the screen here? You have Johnny Blaze, Nicolas Cage's character, pissing fire in a scene. Like, they'll just, like, have random, like, cutaway scenes. Like a Family Guy skit. And I'm like, oh, this is what we're doing right now? Like, what is this? It was the most, like, just weirdly thrown together thing. Everything is so flatly lit. And, like, I think that they nailed the look of the Ghost Rider. They made the original Ghost Rider film in like 2007, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this movie, not good, but like I have nostalgia for it, it's fine. I don't love the way the Ghost Rider looks. In Spirit of Vengeance, he's like charred black skull, like all charred up, and he just looks menacing. But all the Ghost Rider shit was boring as fuck. Like I didn't care what was happening. No one's like dying in a cool way. It's just him getting really close to a goon and just drop jaw, just unbuckling shit, just loud as hell, yelling in this dude's face, and I'm like, okay, he's done this 6 times already.
He turns blue in this
movie. He does turn blue at the very end.
Yeah.
Kind of a cool visual. That's it.
Does that save it for you?
Does that one split second of a cool visual save it for me? Yeah. No. This is one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen. And you talked about Jonah Hex a number of weeks ago as you were doing your Alphabet rewatch, and you thought, Jonah Hex, that masterclass. I missed out on that. I should watch that. Sure. Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor wrote Jonah Hex, and once I found that out, and I was watching this, I was like, holy shit! I'd much rather be watching Jonah Hex, and Jonah Hex is a heaping pile of dog shit. So to watch a movie and be like, wow, I'd much rather be subjected to something that is horrible and dog shit, just not a good movie. Instead of watching what I'm watching, I had to watch it in I had to watch Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance in 15-minute chunks. I put it on the treadmill when I was running, and I was like, holy fuck, this is boring. Like, how do I get through the rest of this? And then watching Amazon Prime on your phone, you have that little you have the pause in the middle, and you have the 10 seconds forward, 10 seconds back. I didn't watch the last 3 minutes of this movie. It was 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. Fast forward. End this fucking movie, please. So, if you haven't seen Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance,
watch it.
Yes. I don't condone drug use. Maybe for this movie you should. Drinking would probably make drinking in a large group of friends that know what you're getting into would make this film marginally enjoyable. I don't know how much more enjoyable it'd be, but it'd probably improve it a little bit. This movie is a heinous thing that exists in the world and should be deleted. The way Warner Brothers has been like, you know what, we're not gonna release Batgirl. We're not gonna put that out. Acme versus Coyote, whatever the fuck that was. Not gonna release that. This feels like a movie where I'm like, David Zaslav, I wish you worked for Warner Brothers or worked for whatever fucking piss poor shit studio that put this dog shit movie out, probably Lionsgate. I wish you worked for them in 2012. Saw the first draft of Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance and was like, fuck no, axe that, because this movie is one of the biggest eyesores I've ever witnessed. So yeah, check it out. You'll love it.
Yeah, I saw this when I was like 12 or 13.
Did you love it?
I think we like, was that like a family reunion or like Christmas or something, and like we got it off Redbox. Like we probably physically went to go get this movie.
Yeah.
Which
too much effort.
Yeah, a lot. I really don't remember much. I just remember him turning blue.
That's literally the last like 2 seconds of the movie.
I know. Yeah, I know.
It's a fever dream of a movie, and none of it's good. Christopher Lambert's in this movie randomly, and I was like, "Holy shit! Is that the Highlander?"
Highlander, no, that's crazy.
Is that Raiden from Mortal Kombat?
Yeah,
what the fuck is going on?
Got to bring back these directors for if they do a Ghost Rider in the MCU. Bring them back.
No, I'm not. Like, the thing is, I like Crank. I like Crank 2 High Voltage. I like some of their stuff. I think that they have interesting sensibilities. For this, way wrong. Horribly done. But definitely check it out if you want to have just the worst day of your life. I think it could be just the crowning achievement of dog shit for you. Anyways, with all that said, thank you for sitting and having some good old liquor drinks with us for another episode of Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok for more in-depth movie reviews and news. Please follow us. Give us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know if we're only doing the things right or doing a good job, because if you're telling us bad things, we're probably not going to change anything. We're kind of... This is like unofficial episode like 28, probably, of us doing the same old shtick. So if it doesn't work for you now, it's probably not going to
it'll get better.
Okay.
No, we swear.
We promise.
Next week, definitely tune in next week.
Yeah, it's way better next week.
It's going to be sweet.
Something that we haven't even looked at.
Yeah.
But... in the world of film, it's not just about what happens on screen, but also about who's sitting next to you in the theater.
From Mason Night, Slate Night, that's a wrap.
Damn, it's hot.